According to a report by EY in 2020, India's agri-tech market potential is pegged at $24 billion by 2025, of which only 1% has been captured thus far. Agri-tech startups are using AI, machine learning and Internet of Things to unlock the potential of big data for greater resource use efficiency, transparency and inclusiveness. One such company that has taken the agri-tech world by storm is Bijak, a B2B platform for agricultural commodity trading. It gives buyers and sellers better prices, increased working capital and optimized logistics. The Gurugram-based startup essentially ensures quick disbursal of loans, reduces costs, eliminates wastage via logistics. It also ensures convenient payment and works as a bookkeeping app. Joining me now to discuss the company's growth blueprint is Nakul Upadhyay, the co-founder of Bijak. Nakul, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Your platform gives agricultural commodity buyers and sellers better prices, increased working capital and optimized logistics. Can you tell us how this works? Was it difficult to get these parties to adopt technology and adopt the app?
It's for a lot of people who are using Bijak today, it's the first business app that they are using. The only apps they have used before are entertainment or social. So yes, it is an uphill battle to convince them to adopt technology at this scale. What has helped though is the intensity of the problem itself, right? So people want a solution for the problem, and they want it so bad that they are willing to put in the effort to learn something new. The other thing that certainly has helped is our approach towards creating the product grounds up for the Bharat segment rather than creating for the niche market and then just translating it into multiple languages. So those are the two things I think which have helped us to get that adoption in spite of the apparent challenges.
You were saying you were solving a problem. So can you tell us a little bit about the problem that you are solving for the farmers and all of the middlemen that are involved? Can you also tell us how your business model is different that led to the massive growth you've seen? And also tell us what some of the biggest challenges were as you set out to build an agri-tech platform.
So I think the problem that the primary problem is trust deficit, right? So agri commodities mostly are traded long distance. They travel a lot. They are perishable in nature. So there are a lot of uncertainties involved when you trade tomatoes or potatoes or any perishable commodity of that sort. There's uncertainty around what would be the price that you would fetch. There's uncertainty around how the quality would be evaluated. Would the method for assessing quality be fair enough? When would you get paid? There are uncertainties around, payment dates and uncertainties around default. All these things kind of force people to trade with a very limited set of counterparties, right? So there's a lot of money left on the table by farmers, by local aggregators, by FPOs, which it kind of forces them to take suboptimal trade decisions. So the first problem that we set out to solve was solving this trust deficit problem. Now we do this by rating counterparties on both ends of a transaction.
Absolutely.
That's the first problem that we set out to solve. Now, how we are different in terms of the business model is we have taken a more inclusive approach to this problem than just going ahead and trying to execute a farm to retail or a farm to plate kind of model, which is extremely ops intensive and kind of we wanted to leverage the domain expertise of the existing ecosystem,
right?
In running the supply chain. We think that in spite of the challenges, of course the system is not perfect, but while living in its own constraints, the unorganized sector does a tremendous job of running the supply chain. This became very clear during the COVID crisis, where the unorganized sector was able to still manage the supply chain.
Correct.
So I think we work with traders, we work with middlemen, we work with farmers. What we do try to do is to solve for that opaqueness and force some accountability, so that the problems that we hear about so often about the trader ecosystem, those problems get resolved rather than just bypassing them altogether.
Absolutely, Nakul. Also, one more thing is that if you could quickly tell us, language is another thing that plays an essential role. Since you're mostly in rural India, can you tell us how many languages your app is available and how are you bridging this communication gap?
Right. So I think we are available in more than 15 languages now.
Okay.
Now we have to take a very pragmatic approach towards language, right? So you cannot just translate how you speak in English into Marathi and expect that, there would be massive adoption in Maharashtra.
Right.
Right. You have to learn what do they refer, how do they refer to things, use their own language. So we do, for every phrase that we use on the app, we do, massive research in terms of how traders
Right.
look at those terms. So even the name Bijak, we realize that, when traders or farmers trade with each other, they say, what's the final Bijak amount, which is the actual realization that they have.
Correct.
Right? Price is one factor after all deductions. What is the actual money that I'm supposed to receive? And since we were trying to optimize for the realization and not just the price, we went ahead with the name Bijak.
All right. So you're available in over 50 languages. What are your current GMVs and what are the trading volumes you clock on a daily basis?
So we do around 300 crores of trade per month across 28 odd states. So we do this with close to 100 odd commodities being traded on the platform. And this has been growing at a significant rate. So we 5x our numbers in last year, and I think we continue to grow at that pace so far.
All right. Nakul, we're completely out of time on the show, but thank you so much for joining us and we wish you all the best with your venture.